Vielen Dank. Hello, I'm representing the Rights to Resist and also Theophanu Club Germany, an Armenian grassroots activism group. Today, one of our members, Elsa from Right to Resist, wasn't able to talk here, so I will also speak for her now. Today, we are celebrating the victory over fascism, and we pledge never again. All nations in the Soviet Union, from Europe to Far East, from Siberia to the Caucasus and the Central Asia, made an immense sacrifice for the victory. 27 million Soviet people from 57 ethnicities lost their lives in World War II. And there were disproportionately more awarded heroes from the national Soviet republics or ethnic autonomies than Russians. We want to remind you about the sacrifices of a small Armenian region, Artsakh, internationally known as Nagorno-Karabakh. Armenian regions Nakhichevan and Artsakh were given from the Armenian SSR to Azerbaijani SSR by Stalin in 1921 as Nakhichevan Autonomous SSR and Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast and Gao, respectively. Since the moment the historic Armenian regions were handed over to Soviet Azerbaijan, the historic Armenian regions with majority Armenian population were handed over to the Soviet Azerbaijan's administration, they were subjected to systemic de-Armenizations by the Azerbaijani government. A significant period of ethnic cleansing was World War II, during which the Azerbaijani administration met its mobilization quotas for the Soviet Republic by mobilizing mainly its ethnic minorities and most of all Armenians. As an ethnic cleansing measure, the Azerbaijani SSR authorities organized total mobilization in the Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast from 1941 to 1945. Every single man in the age of 17 to 65 was mobilized to the front. According to the 1939 census, 151,000 people lived in Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast, and 90% of which were Armenians. 34% of the NKO Armenian population was mobilized, while the whole Soviet Union population mobilization was at 6%. From the Armenian Autonomous Oblast inside Soviet Azerbaijan, there were 2 times more people sent to the front than from Germany itself during the World War II. 45,000 Artsakh Armenians, among them 2,000 women, participated in World War II fighting for the Soviet Union. Half of them fell heroically fighting against fascism. 24 Artsakh Armenians were awarded the titles of Heroes of Soviet Union, 7 became Knights of the Order of Glory, thousands of soldiers were awarded military orders and medals. Artsakh Armenians did not only have the highest participation in the World War II from all of the Soviet Union, but the tiny Armenian region also gave the most high-ranking military personnel. I want to mention a few Artsakh Armenians, thanks to whom also we stand here today celebrating. Twice Hero of Soviet Union, Marshal of Victory Ivan or Hovannes Bagramyan, the commander of the First Baltic Front. Hero of the Soviet Union, Admiral of the Fleet Ivan Isakov, original name Hovannes Isahakian, the first Deputy People's Commissar of the USSR Navy and Chief of the main naval staff. Hero of the Soviet Union, Chief Marshal of the Armored Forces Hamazan Babajanyan, the commander of the 11th Guards Tank Corps, which took part in the storming of Berlin. Air Marshal Sergei Khudyakov, original name Armenak Khanperyans, Chief of Staff and Deputy Commander of the Red Army Air Force. Marshal of Engineering Troops of the USSR Sergei Aganov fought in the engineering troops on the Leningrad and Volgograd fronts. Hero of the Soviet Union, Colonel General Mikhail Parsegov, the Chief of Artillery and Front of the Red Army. Twice hero of the Soviet Union, one of the best pilots of the country, Guard Lieutenant Colonel Nelson Stepanyan defended Leningrad, Crimea, and the Baltic. Unfortunately, almost 80 years on, the fight against fascism isn't over yet. Fascism has been on rise on many parts of the world over the past decade. Hatred towards Armenians, Armenophobia and fascism has been used by the Aliyev regime as a nation-building idea and as a way to suppress social and political protest against the regime inside Azerbaijan for 3 decades. Since the occupation of most of Artsakh in the 2020 war, Azerbaijani army has been destroying Armenian churches, historical monuments and graveyards. The Azerbaijani military committed atrocious war crimes, tortured and killed hundreds of Armenians that fell to their hands as civilian captives or prisoners of war. The authoritarian regime of Azerbaijan has put Artsakh under a complete blockade since December 12, 2022. It is causing a lasting humanitarian crisis as the blockade has disrupted all supplies of essential goods, including food, fuel, medicine, hygiene articles, gas, electricity. It has deprived the people of their right of free movement. Schools and most businesses had to shut down. The constant terrorization of the indigenous Armenians of Artsakh by the Azerbaijani government is evidently meant to sow fear and intimidation within the population and contribute to Baku's policy of ethnic cleansing. Since the handover of 2 regions from Artsakh to Azerbaijan according to the November 2020 ceasefire agreement between Armenia, Azerbaijan and Russia, the Lachin corridor is the only connecting road between Armenia and Artsakh, and the Russian peacekeepers took over its control and security. It's the main responsibility of the Russian peacekeepers to provide the safety and uninterrupted functioning of the Lachin corridor for cargo, human traffic, telecommunications, electricity and gas. For 4 months and counting, the Russian peacekeepers have been unable or unwilling to do that. On February 22, 2023, the International Court of Justice issued mandatory provisional measures ordering Azerbaijan to end its blockade of Nagorno-Karabakh, as well as to restore gas and electricity inflow from Armenia. For months, Azerbaijan ignores the UN court order and continues to blockade Artsakh. Another fascistic war is still raging against Ukraine, causing humanitarian catastrophe. We should stand united against fascism everywhere and at all times. Thank you for your attention.